Hi, everybody. I am very happy. I am very proud to do this presentation for GBS. It's a very big pleasure for me, from Green Building Council Italia, to do this kind of webinar. Uh, I thank very much the D'Angelo, President and CEO of the Green Building Education System. It's a very big pleasure. I am an architect. I am the responsible for the education department of the Green Building Council Italy, and I am a professional for lead for and GBC Historic Building and Vision and other rating system. I am an architect. It's about 40 years of experience, and especially my attention was focused in historic buildings and in all the techniques of the restoration. My last interest was also the education. I am an education responsible for Green Building Council Italia, and also I am a pro reviewer of a US Green Building Council. That's all. It's a very interesting opportunity to this kind of webinar to focus on historic buildings. You know that Italy, there is a lot of heritage of historic buildings. And so we, especially Green Building Council Italy, has developed a rating system focused on historic buildings and trying to do the synergy between restoration, ancient buildings, and rating system for sustainability. And that's very interesting because you can merge the knowledge of restoration, ancient buildings, and have a tool like a rating system as a GBC, Green Building Council Historic Building, that you can see in this kind of rating system. It was also translated in English. As you see now, hazard is also earthquake. You know that Italy is very important seismic center. It's a landscape with many hazards, and especially the earthquake is a very, very important danger, and it repeats many, many times in the history. The last earthquake it was happened in 2016, and so especially in the center of Italy, and it was a very tremendous event. We can see, especially in this part of Italy, there is a lot of historic buildings, historic center, a little historic district, and so when this kind of event it takes a lot of damage for the all the heritage. You can see, especially the last earthquake, it was in 2016, and so very a lot of people was issued by this kind of event, and so with some victims and especially for the in the ancient buildings. So you can see this kind and you can see a lot of short counties touched by this kind of event, especially for the heritage and historic buildings. This introduction is the attempt to merge historic building, safe, especially from historic building to green and safe story building. We have to, especially in the story building, we have to have also the safe of the building and the restoration. It must be focused not only in sustainability but also in safety. Safety is a kind of a category of sustainability. You can see, no, this kind of image that it really it can merge these kind of issues. And so before and after, you see um, the this kind of intervent in ancient building before and after. And so we now focus in the issue of heritage and sustainability. The restoration is kind of a category very important. It's a category of sustainability. The restoration intervent is really a very old practice of sustainability, and we have to learn of this kind of knowledge because we have to practice and know deeply this kind of tradition. We have published also in English, a lot of examples of uh, a lot of historic building transformation restoration and you can find also this kind of a publication. We have done this kind of rating system. This rating system is derived from lead, but with the focus in restoration of ancient building. This is a tool to face how to design, how to construct in a historic building because it's very particular kind of construction technique. And so you now see the category of lead, a category of sustainability, and as you know, like water, energy, material resources, indoor quality, innovation. But there is another category. This is the new category of this rating system of GBC Historic Building. Is historic value. Historic value, you know, a lot of credits, it's focused on the technique of the analysis of historic building because you have to know very, very deeply all the history, the design, the materials of these ancient buildings. And so you can begin from an energy audit, and so you can deeply know the building in the energetic issues. But especially you have to know also all kind of materials because you have analyzed the grade, all the materials that in many years, in centuries, maybe they are changed. And so you have really a thermography of the history by the mortars or the materials that in that kind of building um, has been has been made on the during the construction and the reconstruction during many years. And so you have also used this kind of energy audit also to know the degradation of the building, not only the insulation and thermal properties, but also to know the kind of materials inside, like mortars, like bricks, and many other historic materials. Another things very important to know the seismic resistance of the envelope of the all the structure of the building. There are a lot of techniques to know the resistance of the walls, of the pillars, in all the materials, also in the wood structure. And so this kind of analytical knowledge of all the materials are very important, very fundamental to do the restoration design proper for this kind of buildings. And so you have to know the seismic resistance of the building, because you can do all the plans as you like, the energy efficiency, but at first, you know, you have to know the resistance, the seismic resistance of the building, because from here it derive all kind of intervention to follow. For example, you have to know all the kind of materials, the wood, and other kind of pavements, and so you have to know the identity card of these kind of buildings, and so the materials and the resistance of this kind of materials. For example, this kind of a category of this rating system called historic value is very, very important. This is like a comparison between the historic building and late building design construction. You know, it's very, very similar, but the historic value is an important category of this kind of rating system. And this knowledge, it helps to preserve, to restore, and especially reuse materials. If you don't know the knowledge, the property of the materials, you cannot reuse. If you don't know the kind of resistance, the kind of durability of these kind of materials, because the durability is another category very important of sustainability. And so we can also to have knowledge of the plants, of the ancient plants, maybe as you like, you know, all the kind of distribution of ancient plants, because you can reuse the kind of cavity to pass new plants. And other things, it's very important. This kind of knowledge, it helps to understand and use historic bioclimatic solutions. And so this new category of historic value is very important. And so you will see, if you are interested, you can see on the English manual of this historic building all the kind of knowledge and all kind of the design category that you have to apply in the historic building intervene design and construction. As we have seen, we have we have to have energy surveys, analysis, and very important evaluation of material conductivity, the most significant types of horizontal closures and boarding in the outside air. Another thing very important, you have to value to analyze the structural compatibility with the existing building. In this kind, you saw a ceiling. It was hung with steel and iron structure, and so you because you have to use the historic value of the image of this kind of building. This is an example with old pillars in bricks. They are very enclosed by steel structure. And so you have also to value the reversibility criteria. Is you kind of intervention or restoration, you can reverse the intervent of restoration design. This is a kind of example. This is the ceiling that we have seen before, and because we have these very little pillars, but they are very historic. It's the memory of this kind of, for example, this building. There was a factory the first year of '90s, and so it was maintained this kind of structure because there was the image, and so we have done the choice to hang the ceiling, for example. And so the reversibility of the restoration design is very important. So we have to have an advanced knowledge analysis, the reversibility and the compatibility of the end use, the physical, chemical materials, and the structural materials. And so you have to have also the compatibility, the end use of this kind. You know, in these two photos, after and before and after the intervention of restoration design. The chemical compatibility is very important for the mortars. Is you have to analyze with a chemical analysis the mortars, and so you can do also the project, the design a new intervention for the also for the seismic resistance. And so you have the other issues of green mobility. It's very similar to rating system, the outdoor space, and many other issues that you usually find in the other rating systems as late. The potable water reduction, the water harvesting, the reuse of a gray water, and especially the high efficiency irrigation. So it's very important. This is kind of, for example, in this kind of this kind of photovoltaic cell in the use of the for the energy efficiency, and it's compatible with the historic building. And so all the materials and the waste analysis and the comfort. Comfort is very important. And so you see all the low emitting materials, but this is an example. This is an example in Italy. It's a very an ancient building of the first years of '90s, and this kind of building it is being certified at the same time with this GBC Historic Building and lead V4 for hospitality. It's a very interesting example because we have tested all the differences between lead and between the property of a GBC historic building. It's very interesting design and it can be an history case. And so this is this kind of building was affected by the earthquake in 2016. And so after the earthquake, it was the decision of the property to do and to pursue both the certification lead for hospitality and the GBC Historic Building. This is the final result with the platinum level. Very, very proud of all the team, all the designers, and also the sustainability team. And so it was a 95 points for platinum level for GBC Historic Building. As you see, this man was the owner of this building, and it was the president of Poltrona Frau, if you know, a very important factory, Italian factory of chairs, um, of very important design models, as you know. And so this kind of building is a testimonial of the history of Poltrona Frau. It's a factory, Italian factory, especially for the chairs and very, very international presence. This was the name of Villa Gabrielli. It was in the first years of 90. It was the factory and at the same time the house of the owner, because in that years there was the owner and the factory and at the same time, and so a very historic heritage to have a new life, a contemporary life, but at the same time to maintain the historic value of this building. You see some photos of before the restoration, design, and construction, and you see a lot of a characteristic of historic value. So, uh, so it was really not only the image from the seismic event, but also because it was a building not used for many years. But you see the choice of the owner to delight every room of this hotel to a designer who has worked with the Poltrona Frau factory. And so it was a very intelligent choice to do this kind of building, testimonial, historic value, cultural value of the history of a factory. This is an example of the room, all the room divided to all the pieces of design uh, from every single designer who work with the Poltrona Frau factory. And so this is the use of little this little hotel. It's about 30 rooms, and not big hotel. It's like a little building and not so big hotel, but very, very particular.
ritornerei, lo so, ritornerei. E quando tu sarai con me, ritroverai tutte le cose che tu non volevi vedere intorno a te, e scoprirai che nulla è cambiato, che sono restato illuso di sempre, e riderai quel giorno, riderai, ma non potrai lasciarmi più. Ti senti sola con la tua libertà, ed è per questo che tu ritornerai, ritornerai. Ti senti sola con la tua libertà, ed è per questo che tu ritornerai, 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 ritornerai.
This is the designer hotel, and 30 rooms dedicated to a single designer who work with the Poltrona Frau factory by the owner Franco Moschini. And so you see all the rooms, every room is different, and this is the exterior envelope, the exterior building after the restoration. With the use of lead and GBC Historic Building. You know, every part it was restored with the mortars, the bricks, very very special attention. This is the old that we have seen in the previous photos, and this is the new living of this little hotel. Very precious, really very precious building. And every particular is for example, the stairs and every kind of restoration of the paints, of the glasses, really history and contemporary. It's a very very exciting, interesting example. This is the spa for a little space for relax. And so this is for example, no new design, new furniture design for with the restoration of the ceiling, the paints and new elements. Very very delighted also. For example, this kind of period, the Vienna's suggestion was history, the artistic period of first years on 19th century. And so you can see other rooms, every room different one from another, and you see every particular of the furniture is delighted on taking of the catalog of Poltrona Frau. Really a very, very exciting experience. And so this is an example, and you so this kind of library is a piece of Poltrona Frau, like this kind of chair that is a testimonial of this factory. And so I I want to finish this introduction. Many themes that we can face in other session if you have interest to learn all the techniques of restoration. Thank you and see you.